I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about some questions that we get a lot about what to do about school in December. How to stop, how do you know when to stop, what do you do? I am just going to give you some ideas, and I want to preface all of this by saying that there is no right way to do school in December and no wrong way to do school in December. So it's completely up to you, and it doesn't have to be the same this year that it was last year. You are in charge of your homeschool, and you know what your family needs and what was going to work best for your family. So no right way, no wrong way. You get to do it however you would like. How much or how long of a break you take is completely up to you. I know some families take the whole month of December. Some people only take the week of Christmas. This year is hard with Christmas being on a Monday. Do you take the week before? Do you take the week after? You get to pick. That's the beauty of homeschooling. And just because you set aside your traditional curriculum, your traditional history, Bible, literature, or math, or science, that does not mean that you can't still be learning and having school and counting that. If you need to count your days, or if you like to count your days, that's okay. Just because you're not doing a traditional curricula does not mean that you're not learning and still in school. I thought of some things that we did when my children were small that encouraged them to do school, but not doing regular school. One of the things was baking. So there are a lot of lessons in baking. It's science. You are changing ingredients from one thing to another. That's science. You can talk about chemical reactions. You can talk about physical changes. You can talk about all kinds of science. Anne just joined, and that made me nervous to talk about science because she's the science major. So anyway, baking is science. You can talk about math. Fractions are math. You can double your recipe. You can budget. What if you need to make a certain number of cookies and you only have a certain amount of money? How can you make that happen? So there's budgeting, there's math, there's all of that. You could write out recipes to give to friends and family when you give them your gift. So that's going to cover your penmanship and your copy work. You can write notes of appreciation or whatever, Christmas cards. That could be part of your writing. So lots of ways to incorporate school just by baking. What if you are an arts mom, or not an arts and crafts mom, but you want to, Anne says that yay for science, but she's terrible at baking. Well, maybe we should talk, because I'm not really good at science, but I can bake really well. Arts and crafts. You could make some Christmas gifts and count that for your art. You could talk about color and balance and shadow. There's just a ton of things you could talk about with that, and that would be part of your art. When you are purchasing gifts, you can talk about budgeting. There's math in there. You can talk about stewardship. Where are we getting this money for our Christmas gift budget? Where does that come from? So we had to save and use stewardship. So lots of ways that you can just do what you need to do for Christmas and keep your kids learning in a not traditional curriculum. I also loved to encourage my children to do some kind of service during the month of December. We took the whole month off of traditional school, but that was something that we incorporated with service. We visited nursing homes. Those people love to have young people come and visit them. If your children play an instrument or sing or have some sort of talent, you just call a nursing home. I'm pretty confident that they will let you come in and do that. We would go and paint the nails of the ladies. We would play games. They love to play card games, or they would really play anything that my kids were willing to play with them, or just sit and talk with them. I think that those are some of the loneliest people. And especially during the holidays, I think it's nice to think that your family would come and visit you, but your family is busy too. And And so we would just go and try to be a blessing to those people. You could obviously bake cookies and take them to the fire station. Lots of ways that you can provide service for public service workers. You could encourage your children to help you make a basket of snacks for the delivery men. You know, they're busy this time of year, and I know that they appreciate a drink or a snack when they deliver your 50-second Amazon package of the month. Not calling out anybody. Maybe there's someone in your church or your neighborhood that you can serve and teach your children about just serving at this time of year and all year long. If you don't want to set aside your whole school, if that causes you to have convulsions because you're a box checker and how are you going to get done, what if you only did half a day of school? What if you're purposed to take the next 2 weeks between next week and the week after before Christmas, and you just only purpose to get 1 week of school done? So you did some school, but then you allowed time for fun and holiday activities. Maybe that would help you feel better about getting some of the fun stuff done, but you were still getting school done. What if you just allowed school to start at a later time? Jonna says that she's very close with Amazon. I said I wasn't calling anyone out. I had 3 packages on my door when I arrived back home today. So I need to treat the Amazon man as much as the next person. What if you allowed school to start later because you allowed everyone just the opportunity to have slower mornings in December? You started maybe with some hot chocolate and a Christmas story before you started school, and so school just was delayed. We love to watch Christmas movies. Thanks for saying that. Maybe your sports haven't slowed down, and so you are running ragged. I remember that when my girls played soccer in high school. They played for a local Christian school as a homeschooler, and they tried to cram in all the games that they could leading up to Christmas because there was championships or Yay Sports Ball at the end of December or in the beginning of January. So that's a good point. What if you are doing all the busy things? You just slow down a little. We love to watch Christmas movies. So that was always fun. We had I'm dating myself, we had them on DVD because we didn't have a streaming service. So I kept them with the Christmas decorations, and we pulled them out and allowed a child to pick their favorite movie on the night that we were going to watch. Popcorn or s'mores or hot apple cider, lots of special Christmas treats, and just had a special, it was out of the ordinary for us. How about some Christmas read-alouds instead of your regular read-aloud? I listed some Sonlight titles, and then I'm going to tell you some of my favorite ones. The Christmas Carol is a classic, of course, and as an added bonus, once you read the Christmas Carol, you can watch any of the versions of the movies. One year, I know I've said this before, but one year we read the Christmas Carol, and then we watched every Christmas Carol movie that we could find to find the one that most closely stuck to the plot of the book. We were surprised by the answer. The Family Under the Bridge, another Sonlight title that is Christmas related. The Vanderbeekers, I think it was a summer reader. It's Christmas related. The best, cross out, worst Christmas pageant ever. One of our family's favorites we read multiple times. Of course, we have the Advent books, Jotham's Journey, Bartholomew's Passage, Tabitha's Travel, and Ishtar's Odyssey. Our family read those before they were a Sonlight book. And one of the neat things that we did, we had them long enough to read through the cycle. And so I would just write the year that we read that book in it. And I have lent them out to friends, and they've written in them. So it's kind of fun to go back and look at that. There's the Great Gift of the Magi story. I believe that is in a high school core as well, but you could read that. And then two of our family's favorite stories, get your tissues out when you read them, The Tale of Three Trees. That That book walks you through 3 trees. One turns into Noah's Ark, one is the manger, and one is the cross. Again, get your tissues out. And then that's by Angela Hunt. I don't know if I said that. And The Crippled Lamb by Max Lucado is a great story about a lamb who was in Bethlehem. And he did not get to go out with all the other sheep because he is crippled. But he had the opportunity to be in the stable when Jesus was born. So a really sweet story. But again, I'm confident I never read that book without crying. You could look, of course, we have that free ebook that you can download, Christmas Around the World, that covers Christmas traditions around the world, 19 countries, beautifully illustrated with lots of information, and then those extra QR codes that are going to take you to recipes, crafts, the Inquisitive Kids podcast that will expound on some of that information. So lots of information there, but there's also a bibliography included, and there's a great idea for some books you might check out from your library. So you could also listen to some of those books on audio while you're decorating, while you're baking, while you're running errands. We love audiobooks in our home, and your library probably has a good selection for free. There's other places to get those that you have to pay for. I'm not always a fan of that, but sometimes you want to read a book and you just got to pay for it. And then podcasts, I mentioned there's lots of children's podcasts that, of course, in December will have Christmas content. And you could even go back in their catalog. If you listen to this year's and you really like it, go back in their catalog and check to see what they've done in the past. Probably last December they did some Christmas content too, and it's probably not the same. So check that out. And then just before I go, I want to tell you about the most powerful way to have the December that you are looking for. And it's a small word. It's called no. You do not have to do every single thing that's offered. This is the time of year when there's a gingerbread extravaganza, and there's a cookie making thing, and there's a cantata at church, and there's a play, and then a friend's daughter is in the Nutcracker, and there are lots and lots of opportunities, and they're all good, but you do not have to do them all. Do not run yourself ragged. Learn to say, oh gosh, that is so nice, and thank you so much for thinking of us, but we're going to have to let that go this year. I remember last year when I talked about some things that we did in Christmas, someone commented on the post, and we were speaking more of traditions, and she said that one of the most freeing things she had learned was that to be a tradition, it didn't mean it had to happen every year. So saying no, this year we're just not going to get to that, and that is okay. Another one thing I want to mention, because I forgot, I wrote it on the top of my paper and didn't pay attention. Sometimes in the vein of saying no, it might be saying no to these things, but saying yes to something else. And if you're limited on resources, whether that's time or money or bandwidth, headspace, whatever you call that, if you just have more on your plate than you can do, is just having your family let you know, each person, one thing that would really make their Christmas season. This is the one thing, Mom, that if it didn't happen, I would just be so sad. And do that planning first. So if your child's most favorite thing is to be able to go see the Nutcracker Ballet, for that child, you're going to make that happen. And everyone else is going to be happy for that child on the day that it's the Nutcracker Day, whether you like it or not. It's that person's thing. This is going to make their Christmas, and we're all going to be happy. Also, I'm going to be happy for you when it's your thing. So if everyone can have one thing that they really think is all that Christmas is, let that happen. And then if you have time for extra things, that's awesome. But if you don't, everybody got their favorite thing. And so nobody is disappointed. And we're all happy for everyone else that they got to do their favorite thing. So as you approach the coming holidays and you start to feel pressure about what to do about school, what not to do with school, just remember that you're the boss and there's no right way to do it and no wrong way to do it. And you are welcome to come to the app and post the things that is going to make school special for you. I saw just when I logged on, someone said Christmas vacation starts now, and that is a great feeling. But if you're not there yet, don't fret. Christmas vacation will come, or you can just make it be Christmas vacation. You have that power. You can wake up tomorrow and say, you know what, today's it. This is it. We're done. We're going to start back at the first of the year, and the homeschool police will not come to your house. So if I do not have the opportunity to talk with you on the app between now and Christmas, I hope that it is a wonderful and magical, merry season in your home, that you remember why we're having Christmas and you keep that the main thing. We would have nothing if we did not receive the gift of Jesus. So thanks for hanging out with me, and I wish you a Merry, Merry Christmas.